Welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year. So recently I've talked about my least favorite and most favorite movies of 2024. So now let's get into my most anticipated movies of 2025. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Luke. I love talking about movies, and today I want to get into my most anticipated movies for this year. If you don't follow me online, you can find all of my social links below. I'm also an app developer, and I've created an app for kind of ranking and scoring the movies that you watch. You can check it out. It's free to download to check out. I also have a podcast where I cover Marvel content, and that is linked below as well. So if you're new, I've got tons of content, so please go check it out. Now let's get into the list. So before I get into my top 10, let's start with some honorable mentions. So first up is Zootopia 2. This is a movie that I've grown more and more fond of over the years. When I first watched it, I wasn't a big fan, but the more I watched it, the more it grew on me, and it's one that my kids enjoy watching. So very familiar with this world and excited to see what they do. Seems pretty long delay to get a sequel out for Zootopia, but hopefully it will deliver. Next up is Sinners. This is one I've seen. We've got one trailer out for it, I believe. Ryan Coogler directing this, if you're familiar with like Creed and Black Panther. But this is a new take on horror. Seems to be around vampires is what I've read. So I love that the trailer doesn't give too much away. Maybe it's vampires, maybe it's something else. That's going to be a surprise, but looks pretty cool and I can't wait to check it out. Next up is Thunderbolts. Getting quite a bit of Marvel content this year. Definitely excited to check it all out. I do co-host a Marvel-based podcast. I know so many people are probably getting tired of, these superhero movies, but I'm still a big fan, and Thunderbolts is one I'm very excited to check out. Very curious to see where it's going to go, what it's going to lead to. So that is on my list as well. And next up is Mickey 17. Now this is a movie I believe we were supposed to get in 2024, then it got pushed out to this year, and it's been bouncing around. Originally it was supposed to have a January release date, which made everyone nervous because January is typically the month where you get kind of the weaker movies of the year. But now this one is pushed into springtime. So Bong Joon-ho and Robert Pattinson, excited to see them team up, and it looks pretty fun. All right, and then the last on my honorable mention list is Mortal Kombat 2. Now this Mortal Kombat remake, it's very split on it. It's didn't really follow the traditional like Mortal Kombat tournament that we're used to from the other movie and the games. Also brings in a new character, but there was something about it that was cool and made it very entertaining to watch. So I'm hopeful that this sequel will come in and correct a lot of that stuff. We'll get back into the traditional tournament with all these characters that we know from the game, and hopefully it'll be something exciting. All right, so now let's get into my 10 most anticipated movies of the year. Coming in at number 10 is Avatar: Fire and Ash. When it comes to the Avatar movies, I'm not the biggest fan. I mean, yes, from a technological standpoint, James Cameron, he has done some pretty incredible things. The most recent one that we got was, it was a spectacle. It was so fun to watch, but the story is, I don't know. I haven't been super invested into the story, but he has said that the first two are really just more of a build-up, and for all the future movies, it's going to get into something so much more. So I'm very hopeful that Fire and Ash can kind of weigh my excitement and maybe get me more excited for the future of the Avatar movies. Coming up next is Captain America: Brave New World. This is coming out in February. This looks to be a very grounded, almost darker level of Marvel, something that we haven't seen in a bit. I liked The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked the action in it. I liked the cinematography, just everything that they were doing with it. So this is one I'm definitely excited to check out, seeing what they're going to do with Red Hulk. We're getting the leader, Red Hulk, quite a few villains in this, and this is really kind of setting up where things could be going moving forward with the MCU in terms of the movie. So very hyped for this one. Can't wait to see it next month. Coming up next is Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, when it comes to the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies, they have their highs and they definitely have their lows. The last movie that came out, Dominion, was not a big fan of. It's such a shame to bring in the legacy characters and not do very much with them. The story was so weak. If you've watched the Netflix animated series, that's actually really, really good. And I was surprised that they weren't going to pull these in together even more with those characters and bring them into the live action world. So kind of bummed out by that. But now we have a whole new cast. I'm very hopeful that we can get back to like where Jurassic Park was and get back to that kind of level of like just intensity and almost like have that horror approach with dinosaurs. But when it comes to dinosaurs and big screen, I'll always be there. Always fun to watch. My kids are into dinosaurs, so that's one we're looking forward to checking out later. Coming up next on my list is The Black Phone 2. Now, The Black Phone was a bit of a surprise for me. Went into that one fairly blind outside of maybe seeing the trailer once. And Ethan Hawke was a standout. The story was okay. I thought it was a bit predictable, but I still enjoyed it. I mean, it left me tense. It, had me on the edge of my seat at moments. So now that we got a sequel, curious to see what they're going to do with it and can't wait to check that one out. Next up is from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. Big fan of John Wick. Those movies just get better and better, and now we're getting more into that world through Ballerina. So if you've watched the movies, you're kind of familiar with the environment and where these assassins go to train. Seems to be split up between the male and the female. So this one we're going to follow a female assassin. Now this is a prequel, so we will have Keanu Reeves coming back as John Wick. Not really sure how involved he'll be in this. Maybe it's just a scene or two. But again, big fan of this world and can't wait to check this one out. Next up is Fantastic Four. Now this is a big one because this is probably in terms of Marvel, the most anticipated I've been for any movie in quite some time. This is Marvel's first family. This is the movies that we had previously just weren't really the biggest hits, and we've been in this new MCU for a long time now. So to finally get a Fantastic Four movie, I really hope that this delivers. I'm excited about the cast, the little bits we've seen here and there. I'm ready for the official trailer to drop in movie theaters and see it on a big screen, but this is one I cannot wait to see. Next up is 28 Years Later. When it comes to the other two movies, I am a big fan. 28 Days Later, I remember the first time I watched that. It was so awesome. Recently, they dropped it back into a digital purchase because I believe you can't even find it like as a DVD or Blu-ray anymore. So I definitely bought that so I can have a copy of it. Big fan of the 28 Weeks Later. That last scene in that movie it just imprinted in my brain. Like I couldn't stop thinking about it. I thought that was like a really well done zombie movie. And now we're getting 28 years later. Also the fact that it's shot entirely on an iPhone, like that just blows me away. So I'm hoping this one delivers. I can't wait to see it. And maybe it'll just, if it closes out and makes it as a trilogy, I'll be totally fine with, but I really hope it stands out. Coming up next is Predator Badlands. So as I've mentioned before on previous videos, I am a fan of like the Alien franchise, a fan of the Predator franchise, and even with Predator movies, like there's been some great ones and there's been some that haven't been as great as like the original Predator. But Prey was really, really great, and having Dan Trachtenberg coming back to direct this one, I am psyched for. Now we also are getting another Predator movie this year that is supposed to be an animated one. I'm not sure if Dan was involved with that one, but either way, can't wait to check it out. I do hope Predator Badlands will get a theatrical release because Prey should have been in the theaters for sure. So Predator Badlands, I cannot wait for that. All right, so the last two on my most anticipated list. The next one coming up is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I am a big fan of Mission Impossible. I have seen all of them in theaters, so I've stuck with Tom Cruise through this journey of these movies, and it's weird to see that this could be coming to an end. If anything, it will be coming to an end for Tom Cruise character. So this has been a long journey, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. Last up on my most anticipated movies for 2025 is James Gunn's Superman. Superman such a fascinating superhero. It's wild to see how many various movies and TV series we've gotten of this character, and just how split it's been among all of them. It's almost like this Superman has gotten more TV series than movies, and grew up watching the Christopher Reeves movies, which is like a staple. Like the first Superman with him is just incredible, and it's one I rewatch often. And then we've had, you know, a couple of other super actors coming in for the movie. I wish we could have gotten more with Henry Cavill. I really enjoyed Man of Steel. But now this one, James Gunn's version of Superman, is really what's going to kick off what we're going to get moving forward in this new DCU world. And I can't wait to check it out. The trailer, while exciting, feels a bit bloated. There's a lot going on. It's a teaser trailer, but let's see what happens when we get an official trailer. And this one's, it's going to be big for this summer, so I cannot wait to see it. So those are my most anticipated movies of 2025. What are some of yours? Would love to know. Let me know in the comments below. Any of mine that you're looking forward to? Is there something not on my list you're looking forward to? Let's chat about it. Hope everyone has a great 2025, and we'll see you soon.